I figured we would just do one where I get ready. I have to film something else for a company that I signed up with to do a video on. So I have to get ready for that. So I figured why not just put my makeup as I talk to you guys, and at the same time just show you some of the new products that I've received from Sephora. And gratis, as for those of you that don't know, I'm a beauty advisor at Sephora. I've been doing that for the last 3 years. Anyway, we're gonna just try out some of the newer things. So I've already done my skincare, I have put my sunscreen. So the next step would be primer. And I usually do 2 primers. I'll do one for glow, and then I'll go in with one, a blurring one for just those areas where I have the enlarged pores. I do have quite a bit of glow already, but I wanted to show you this new product that we got from Say. They had the original one, and then they had a darker bronzy color, and they now have one that's like a little pinkish. So this gives a ton of glow. I tried it once before. I got it recently, but I tried it once and it gives an incredible amount of glow. So you don't want to put too much. It doesn't really come out pink or anything. It kind of dissipates once you blend it in. I'm not sure what the purpose is of making 3. I mean, I can understand the original one, which is like a neutral color, so it matches every skin tone. So and then I can understand the darker one. So if you want to look bronzier, or if you have dark skin tone like myself, that would be a better match. But the pink one, I'm not sure that it does anything different. I don't see any difference on my skin, but we're just gonna roll with it. I just wanted to show you some of the new products that we've received. One product that I swear by for my enlarged pores, and it's not sold at Sephora, is this one, and I've raved about it all the time, is this LA Girl Blurring Primer. It is incredible. I can't vouch on the ingredients because I'm not a clean product freak. I do have Yuka, that app that you kind of scan, and then it tells you what ingredients could be in the product that could potentially be harmful. And by the way, if you scan any of the skincare from Sephora, it all scores 100 out of 100, which I just found that out a few months ago. And actually a client was walking around, she wanted a new moisturizer. And so she's walking around the store with her phone and she's scanning everything, and everything is giving her low numbers. And she's not happy. So she's like almost ready to go, like giving up. And I said, you know what, why don't you scan this moisturizer from Sephora? Thinking that she's gonna be like, no, of course not. I mean, it's a cheaper product, why would it be cleaner? And by the way, this is so not sponsored, but it's just my experience with clients and the things that they're looking for and whatnot. But anyway, she did scan it and it was 100 out of 100. And then I got curious, so I started scanning, the eye cream, the toner, I started scanning everything, and all of it was 100 out of 100. And I was so impressed by that. Because, the products from Sephora are the more affordable that you can find store-wide. And you typically get a bigger discount when they have their annual sales. You'll get like 30% off on all of Sephora products versus the other discounts, which are based on your tier. And that sale just ended, the one in November. So that was insane. That was insane, guys. I had one day that it was so bad, I really thought I was gonna lose my mind. I had to like go in the bathroom and like just sit there for a couple of minutes and just like deep breaths, because it was, and in the 3 years that I've been there, I've never had a day that has been that crazy, never. It was just like all the crazies were let out at the same time, and they all decided to go shopping together at Sephora. And my lucky day, I was there. Obviously, we're all there during the sale. I hope this lighting is okay. All right, so see how it removes the shine from those areas that I put it in? It's a great product, and I hope there's no poison in it or anything like that, because here I am recommending it. So anyway, I want to focus on like makeup for mature skin, and what my personal recommendation is, as a lot of you have heard me say, as you get older, invest more in skincare and less on makeup. You need way more skincare and reduce your makeup. In terms of coverage, don't go for high coverage foundations. They will only add 10 years to your face. I recommend you lean towards medium to lighter. So in terms of the foundation coverage. And one of my favorite ones that I recommend to all my mature clients is this one from NARS. It's called the NARS Light Reflecting. They have several other formulas, but this is the one. The light reflecting one is the one that has the coverage that I recommend. It's super natural looking. It really ends up looking like your second skin. It's not the kind of foundation that you can tell, oh, like, look at her, look at her foundation, look at everything she's covering up. It just really is like not there. And that's what we want. That's what you want to aim for, to have that well put together, but without it showing like, oh, wow, that's being achieved by a ton of makeup. You know what I mean? So that natural, the no makeup look it's not just a popular thing, it is for us mature ladies, it is, I would say, should be the gold standard. Gold standard? Not sure. Always bring it down your neck. Wow, I haven't done my makeup in front of camera in so long, and I'm sitting on a stool, which is super high, and my makeup is down there because I don't have a camera holder that goes lower than this. I know. You would think after however many years I've been doing this, I still don't have everything I need. If I would only stick with it consistently, I would. And I probably, you know what, I'm gonna take my earrings off because they're gonna drive me crazy for now. And I'm gonna pick up my hair while I'm at it. Look how long, guys, my hair has gotten. This is like, it goes down to like my lower back, and everyone at work thinks that they know that I don't have extensions because they know me. They've seen it grow. I went from having it when I started at Sephora, it was like up to here, and now it's down my back. And everyone asks me like, what are you doing? How do you get it to grow so much? I'm like, I don't know. I honestly cannot tell you. I wish I had an answer for that, but I don't. I take my multivitamins. I take the stuff that everyone pretty much takes. The only thing I add that I think the average person doesn't is cranberry supplement, which I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but that's like the only thing I can think of. And I've told my coworkers this because they all are just blown away by how much my hair has grown and how quickly, and they want the same, because a lot of them wear like wigs or extensions, which I want to be able to get wigs. I've been dying to get be able to go back to my red without bleaching and damaging my hair all over again. I just love red. So yeah, I just don't know how I would hide all this hair without it showing, but anyway. Oh, I meant to show you. I told you this video was gonna be all over the place. That's how my brain is most days, but especially today. I've had a lot of coffee. This primer just came out also from Milk. It's also a glowy primer, and I forgot to put it. I meant to show you before, but here, I'm just gonna swatch it so you can see. This one has that tint to it, which is like perfect for my skin tone. So I'm just gonna take a little bit and apply it just on the high points of my face. It probably won't show on camera whatsoever, but it's a perfect color for me. I don't know if you have like fair skin. I don't know that it would work. I mean, probably once you blend it. Yeah, it blends away. I always love applying like a little bit on the Cupid's bow because that helps, I feel like the camera angle is wrong, because that helps like it makes your lips look bigger, and on the top, the arches of your brow, because it helps supposedly create this lifting effect. And of course, we all know top of the cheekbones. So that's a good spot. Those are some spots that it's good too. And of course the inner corner, but because this is liquid, we're gonna just do that with powder, if I remember. All right, so looking super glowy. Yeah, the pores, anytime you add glow, the pores come back, which is why I do it in the order that I do, but this time I kind of went back, and so they're there, but it's okay because with powder, that's also another benefit of using powder. It's not just to set the makeup or just reduce the sweat or whatever. It helps, really does blur the pore, and it depends on the powder. And speaking on powders, let me show you I have like 4 new ones. This one is from Kosas. They came out with 3 different colors, and I have the yellow one. They have a peachy one that I wish I had selected that one instead, but that one works. It works really, really nicely. It blurs the skin in a beautiful way, and it doesn't dry my very dry skin. It doesn't make my dry skin worse. The other one I received is this one from Rare Beauty. That color seems a little bit dark, but that one I haven't used much, so I really can't give you my opinion on it. This new one is from Tarte, and it's super cute. The packaging is just really genius. It comes with this little sponge that sits in this little thing, and the sponge, you can take your finger and then you open the thing, if you can, and then you dab it in, and then you can set your under eyes, you can set the T-zone, whatever, using this, and put it back in. So this one, perfect for traveling because the powder is nice and locked in there, and you have the little spongy to go. I also got this one from Makeup by Mario. It's meant to be translucent. I got the shade Warm Honey. So this one I think is also a little bit yellow. I don't think I've tried that one either, but these are some of the new powders that are out on the market, and so far the one that I can tell you I have been using and loving is the one from Kosas, which is interesting because I have 2 of their other ones. I have Cushiony and Pillowy from them, and using these 2, I never fell in love with the formula as I have with this one, this newer one. So it makes me think that the formula on this one is different. So before we put on powder, I want to just go in with my concealer, and one that I have several new ones, but I'm gonna apply the one that I've been using the most. But let me just show you, in terms of new, there's this one from Tower 28. This one, my shade, it turned out to be too dark, so I don't use it very much. This is not new, but it's been receiving a lot of attention from Hourglass. This shade turned out to be too light for me, so I only use it to highlight certain points of the face. And then I got these 2 from Tarte. One is a corrector and one is the concealer. And the corrector one I got in like the shade Peach, but it comes with a really cute little brush, and it's a corrector, so you can apply that before you go in with your concealer. Sometimes they do a great enough job that you can just get away with using a corrector and don't need a concealer. My favorite one has been for the last year or 2 is the one from Huda Beauty. This is my favorite one, and it has been for quite some time. I'm not going to use it today because I wanted to show you some of the newer stuff, but this is the only full coverage concealer that I have found on the market that does not make my dry skin worse, or in other words, it works with my dry skin even though it's full coverage, and it has the word matte in the name, so that says a lot. So obviously this is one I recommend to my mature clients that are looking for for some that are looking for more coverage, that don't just want like a daily concealer just to kind of look put together. When they're looking to get an actual product that gives them coverage for like a glam look or whatnot, that is my recommendation. So this one from Say, I'm not sure what coverage they claim it is, but I have used it a couple times and I kind of like it. It doesn't give me a ton, like the same amount of coverage as as I would get from Huda, but it's more than enough. I'm just gonna go in with the Hourglass one, and I just do it here because I have they're called nasal labial folds, and so putting a light color there helps kind of bring that out and hopefully make that less pronounced, right? That is the goal. And then I put some here, and again, this is still with the lighter one. And then I bring it a little bit down the nose and a little bit on the chin. Technically, you could do the same thing with the same concealer here, but this one is too light for me, for my under eyes, and I don't like to end up with that look of, you know, like my skin tone and then all of a sudden these two white patches. Like, I hate that look. So I make sure that my concealers always are either my same skin tone or just slightly lighter than my skin tone. I don't go too light. Sometimes I will go in with this one and just apply a little dot in the center, which I can show you. If I want a little bit more brightening effect, I'll go in with that one and just do a little dot, but only after I've applied my regular one. So this is a concealer brush. This is a phenomenal one from Haus Labs. They have a matching one for the face, which I've been wanting to get, but I refuse to buy one more brush. I literally have, I wish I could show you, I have a drawer full of brushes and I just cannot justify buying yet another. So what I do is whatever's left and I bring it to the top. And see, that way with the brush, you get so much coverage. I don't like to have that much coverage. So what I do is I go in then with a sponge and then I tap it in and sort of that absorbs the excess. Because to me, like when it has that much coverage, it just looks like makeup. You know, it reminds me of like the makeup from MAC. I always remember, this was before I got into makeup, and when I would go to MAC to get like a bronzer or a lipstick or something, I would always wonder why their makeup was always so obvious. Like you could literally like peel off, like their skin would look so dry from so much makeup and so heavy and so much powder. And I was always curious about that, like what part of that looks good. I never understood it. I never understood that. So I've always been, even before I got older, I've always gravitated towards more natural makeup. It just works out to my benefit now that is what I happen to prefer. But I know some people, you know, prefer full coverage, and even though they're older, they still choose, and of course that's their choice. If that's their personal preference, that's going to be their personal preference. I'm just speaking from a standpoint of like what as a beauty advisor, whatever that means, right? I'm not a makeup artist, but you don't have to be a professional makeup artist to know what kind of looks good and what doesn't. And I know that heavy makeup, it just does add years to your face. All right, so now that my, let me see. Actually, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna just do a little dot to show you the brightening effect. And so it's just a little dot. You see how minimal that is? And I just pat and keep it there on the inner part. And that helps kind of open up your eyes a little bit more, because as we know, as we get older, our eyes get hooded. Our eyes, you know, tend to just get smaller. So then I'm just gonna go in with the sponge and just tap away. This is a very big sponge. I could have used to have these little baby ones, which if you ever want one of those, this is like a baby sponge. This is from Real Techniques. You could get that at the drugstore. They're great if you're the kind of person that just throws on concealer and a little bit of mascara and out the door. That way you don't have to, use a whole sponge. All right, so now that the base is on, this is when I either go in and set it right away if I'm using just regular powders. But if I'm using cream or liquid products like cream liquids, I would do this first and then go in with the powder afterwards. And that way I can set everything, and it also helps, especially when I use a very bright blush. In order to tone it down a little bit, I like to put translucent powder over it, and it kind of makes it look more natural and kind of blend in all together. I don't know if that makes sense, but my favorite bronzers when it comes to cream bronzers, just so you know, my favorite, Rare Beauty, and I've gotten so many people into this one. I always got it compared to with the Mario one. I don't like this one as much, even though it comes with that cool like little brush on the other end. I don't like the formula as much. I find it to be a little bit drying. This one kind of melts into your skin, so I love that one. Say has this liquid one, and they also have this older formula that comes in like in a pod, yeah. And this one for some reason didn't become as popular. This is it's a really beautiful like dark cool tone. I think this one came in 3 colors. But I think this one, the liquid one, is definitely newer. I'm very careful with bronzer. Sometimes I avoid it altogether, only because it reminds me of the dark spots. And I feel like if the color is too cool toned, then it's gonna accentuate my hyperpigmentation, which is what I'm trying to hide. Which, by the way, let me address that first. I've had a couple of subscribers ask me how I go about covering my hyperpigmentation. So on a day like today, for example, I already applied my foundation, and because this is a natural foundation, you can still see the dark spots. What you can do is either go in with a concealer, ouch, go in with a concealer that's like your skin tone, and just, this is a dark one, so I can use this one and apply a little bit in those areas where I have the hyperpigmentation, and just dab it in. See, that helps a little bit. It won't, nothing is ever going to cover everything 100%. Nothing is ever going to make your eye bags disappear miraculously. It is adjusting your levels of expectation. I wish more clients would understand this, that there is no such thing as a perfect product that's gonna fix everything and gonna make you look 20 years younger. We need to adjust our expectations, ladies, and work with what we have. Another way that you can do that, this is a stick foundation that I've had for years. This one is from Hourglass. It's still sold. I don't use it too often, but it is a nice one. It's nice and creamy. So you can just go in and, like you would with a concealer, just in those areas where there's that darkness, and just tap it in, blend it in. Again, I don't add too much, because if I start building coverage, then it starts looking like full coverage, and then I start to get turned off. So I go back in and always make sure, remove any excess. I flip the sponge around so I can make sure I remove any product that could be making it look too heavy. All right, so we're still on liquids. We're still on creams. So now that I've set down the base, covered the hyperpigmentation as much as possible, we can go in with a bronzer. Drew a blank. So this is, like I said, this one is my favorite from Rare, but because we're trying new products today, I will go ahead and try the one from Say, even though it makes me nervous because it's so cool tone. It is so cool tone. So I'm just gonna start off with not too much, and you wanna keep it up here. I tell my clients, just think just the top of the cheekbones, and you can either just tap, 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 and then kind of move it around, like in circular motions. But you want to keep it up there because you want to create sort of that definition. If in my case, I have a very long face and not very full, obviously, and it's going to continue to get more hollow and longer. That's just what happens with aging and gravity. So in my case, I never want to make my face chiseled because I feel like it's going to make it look thinner. And my idea of bronzer is simply to give the face some definition. See, whatever was left on the brush, I didn't even add any more. That's what I bring to the perimeter of the forehead. This is very challenging, guys. I have a mirror down here. So see how that kind of starts to warm up the face. So now we'll do a little bit on the other side. And same thing. Tap, tap, tap. Let the tapping motion do the blending for you. And then whatever's left, I just kind of bring it down here. Is it doing anything? Not sure. I just think of it as I'm cleaning my brush a little bit. Then we move on to blush, and we're gonna stay with cream since I'm gonna set the face afterwards. A new cream blush is this one from, oh my God, from House Labs. I got this shade. It's really pretty. This one is newer. This one from Milk Makeup is newer. It's like a jelly cold. Don't love it too much. I feel like with the packaging and everything, this is more like for a younger generation. And then this one just came out recently. This is from Hourglass. I love this color. It's peachy, and that is like my jam. Anything that's peach, I love, like burnt oranges, things like that. It's flattering on my skin tone. But this packaging is annoying. It has like a little thing at the bottom, and you have to push in order to get the liquid out. Except now it came out right away, and it's just making me look bad on purpose. Yeah, this was not the case. The other day I almost broke my nail pushing this thing down. Oh my gosh, see, it came out again. Unbelievable. All right. Oh, see now, nope. It's very liquidy. And so, wow, it's running down. I think it needs to be, you need to shake it really well. I think that's why this is happening, because that was not leaking like that before. So we're gonna shake it, and then, yeah, see, now it's coming out incredibly well. Wow. Anyway, you can apply this with your fingers. You can apply this with a brush, with your sponge. I'll just go ahead and do some little dots. So I place it first, pick up a little more from my hand, and then place it. And then I can take a brush. This one from Sephora is like a flat slanted, so this one works really well for cream products because you can just kind of pad like you did with the bronzer, staying really high up, close to the end of your eye, and then just bringing it down. And do the same on the other side. See how before we never used to get that close, but that is the trend. So get comfortable with it, or don't, and apply your blush down here like we did in the 80s. You know, it's your preference. I don't mind it. I kind of like it that it's that high up. And I know they say like smile and apply some on the apples. I've heard some makeup artists say, no, don't do that. Again, it's a preference. So with whatever's left, I go in and dab it across the forehead, so kind of like to bring everything together. And I'm looking at my camera because it's threatening that it's gonna stop recording any minute. And then sort of a little bit on the nose, and you're looking, you see how that's like very bright? Don't worry, we're gonna fix that in a little bit. I typically go in with my sponge and very lightly, not pushing too much, because if you press too much, then it's gonna pick up more product. So I just lightly, very light in the air, very gentle. You just kind of go and blend those two things. Complexion is pretty much done. We just have to go in now and set it with powder. So for that one, I'm gonna use the new one from Kosas, like I mentioned, that yellow one. I feel like for me, the peachy one definitely would be flattering, but this one works as well. So this one works as well. We're just gonna use that one. I first check to make sure there's no creases. I happen to be lucky that way, that I don't have like lines, like my concealer doesn't settle into fine lines. I know some 20-year-olds that struggle with that. It's all a matter of the type of eye you have. A lot of times it's not because of age that you experience that settling into fine lines. So you see how beautiful that blurred everything out. I first go around setting the T-zone first. I set the T-zone. Look at the difference between this one and this one when it comes to how it blurs. Here, so that my glasses can not slide down my nose. And so then I take a look in a thing that has no mirror. Ideally, you use a compact that has a mirror. So I see that my pores are pronounced again. So I'm just gonna take and always dust off the excess and kind of put powder a little bit, not too much, in those areas to remove some of that shine so that my pores are not so pronounced, and also to set those cream products that I applied. So I apply a little bit, you can bring it up. If you don't want to bring it to the top, you don't have to, and leave kind of the top area glowing. Just depends what kind of mood I'm in. But basically, yeah, you can set all over with this powder. And like I said, this one doesn't cause me to feel my skin being drier or anything like that. All right, then at this point, I move on to my brows, and I have been using the Grande Lash Serum, which has been helping it grow. I was missing kind of like that little tail, but it seems to be growing back. So I keep it simple. I basically just put some clear gel that will hold it in place, fill in the little gaps. And I'm gonna do that off camera because my thing is gonna die, so I'm gonna try to save that. I'll be right back. All right, so hopefully it is still recording. I just went in with the Rare Beauty brow setter, combed it through, and I filled with Anastasia with this pencil the little ends here. And recently I have been using this other product from Anastasia. I use it to define, to kind of clean up, called a Pro Pencil. And basically you want one that matches your skin tone, and I just apply it here to make that look more sharp. So you can do it all across or just do it on the tail end if you just want to kind of clean that up. I also have been using it if I have like a mistake or something gets, you know, on my eyes and I just want to erase it. I've been using it that way as well. But Anastasia also came out with a new brow product. Sort of like very similar to the one they had, which is just like this with a spoolie with color. And the brush is a little different than the one they used to have. That's basically the only difference. I did get it, but I can't find it to show you, so sorry about that. We also got this new liquid liner from House Labs, which I think it's really nice. I just don't use liquid liner, so I wish I could give you a review on it, but it's not felt tip, it's a brush tip, so it's very flexible. It's not firm, it's very bendy, so if that's your jam, then you would like that one. Pretty sure it's waterproof as well. All right, so before I just kind of, sometimes I blend it in, or sometimes I forget and I leave it, and it seems to be fine. So now we move on to the eyes. I picked up this little eyeshadow palette because, you know, I only have 150 of them and I needed this one. It's like a holiday edition from Too Faced. And I bought it because it has the most beautiful shimmers here. It has 3 shimmers that are so beautiful. They remind me a lot of here's the swatch of one of them. The formula reminds me a lot of the Urban Decay, the like Space Cowboy, one of those. It's very like sheer, so it gives you like this beautiful just wash of glitter across your lid, and it's just so pretty. So we're just gonna do something simple. I'm gonna start off in a good old-fashioned YouTube fashion. I'm gonna apply that dark color that's like a very bronzy. I'm just gonna pat it, just dab in the outer part. Just go back and forth, and see. So my crease is down here, but I bring it up and make it bigger because our eyes get hooded as we get older, so we lose lid space. So I just dab, and then I'm gonna do the other side. You just do the tapping. Don't be afraid to hit the bone. Like you want to be able to go above that bone to be able to create some room for your lid so that you can apply those shimmers on the lid. I remember before I knew about makeup, I just always thought that the makeup was supposed to be kept down here. Like I wouldn't go out or go up. I would just like, you know, and it's all a matter of like, once you get the hang of it. So see how that, so then I take a fluffy brush, ideally with no product on it, and then kind of just then bring it in and make that my transition shade. Meaning, and you go above the crease for this one. So you can look down, see my crease is here, but I'm applying it on it and above it. On it and above it. And then you could do circular motions to kind of soften it up. Do the same on the other side. And then you can apply more and then build it up. So apply, blend until you get the pigmentation that you're looking for. If I'm, for example, just want a little something to look put together and I want to be out the door, I would just leave it at that. But if I want a little more, I would just like this, go back in. Oops, wrong brush. I would just pick up more and then go and do that process again until I get the pigmentation that I'm looking for like a more intense smoky eye look. Like for example, if I'm going out, which I never do, but so again, I go in with the fluffy brush and go along the edges, up. You always want to blend up to cause that lifting effect. So from that point, I blend up and then across on my crease and above. And so from here down, that's going to be where my shimmer is going to go. Ideally, you want to be able to look forward and be able to still see the shadow peek through. And if you don't, then that means you have to bring it a little higher. All right, you get the gist of it. Now, for depositing color on the lid, you want a flat shader brush, and I'm gonna see if I can find a clean one. So a flat brush like this, and we're like going back to Makeup 101. So this one here is a shimmer, this is a shimmer, and so is this one, but I like to go for the lighter one. So I just like pat the brush in, tap off the excess, and then kind of just dab it. If you want a more intense effect, you can spray a little spray, setting spray on the brush, and then pick up the product, and that's gonna make it more intense. But we're going for something light. We're not going for too much. We're not going for too much, and I'm going in for the third time. See, for me, this is not, like, I'm so used to wearing shimmers every day. I just love them on my lid. Don't let anyone tell you that mature eyes cannot wear shimmers or glitters. It's all a matter of placement, and I recommend like sheer things like this, not the heavy shimmers that have like the dual chrome. Those are like so much, they're so extra, and they are not flattering. But when it's something like this, where it's like just a nice light wash of glitter shimmer across the lid, I feel like it's so flattering. Look how pretty that is. I'm gonna even this one out because that one went a little higher, so I'm gonna go a little higher here. And see that I go up to the crease, that's where my crease is. So you don't want to pass that point. And here, then I just go back and forth to kind of blend the two in the center. At this point, I go in with a liner. I've recently picked up this one from Sephora. Their gel liners are waterproof. They claim to be 12-hour wear. I always do my waterline. That's just how I do my makeup. I just do the upper waterline, which at first was a challenge for me to get. So I do that, and sometimes I'll go and put a little bit in the bottom, only in the bottom part, in the outer only. Just a little bit there, because I don't want it to be like too heavy. I don't want to close my eyes again. And what I do actually at this point is I put also eyeshadow in the bottom part. And for that I use like a small brush. So you could use the same, you could use a bronzer or use the same color that you use there and then blend it. I want it to not be so dark, so what I'm gonna do is I go in with the brush and pick up the lighter color, mix it with the darker, and back to the lighter, tap off the excess. That creates a softer color. So you place it, look up. All right, and usually for the inner part, to highlight the inner corners, because that helps your eyes open up. I usually use a regular highlighter. You can use any highlighter that you like. I have this from Dior. It's a pretty color. And you want to use like a pen. I don't know if these are called pencil brushes. Yes, I'm pretty sure they are. You want to make sure it's clean. I just take a little bit and then I place it on the inner corner. See how I'm sweating and the T-zone starting to get shiny again? I can go in and set that, add a little bit more powder to that area. When I have the highlighter out, I like to just pick some up and add some to the Cupid's bow again, the tip of the nose. You don't have to, that's an extra step. Now, before we move on to mascara, this is when I go in and I apply my setting spray. This is a new one from Urban Decay. I think it's meant to be hydrating. I'm not crazy about the spritzer, the spray itself. It's like defective. It opens, I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of opens up, but there's like nothing in the middle. So it gets everything wet and I don't appreciate it. So I'm just gonna, oh, it smells like really strong, like watermelon. So if you don't like the smell of watermelon, avoid this at all costs. I don't like the smell of watermelon, but I got it, so I'm trying it. So when my lashes are wet is when then I go in and I curl them. This is from the Sephora collection and I'm still getting used to it. I don't love it. I'm just kind of, you see how that added more glow? So I want to go in and kind of absorb that extra shininess. So hold it for a few seconds. Now, the most important part, mascara. And if you are someone that has mature eyes and you have started to experience like a lot of smudging and transfer, or even if you're a young person and you have that problem, like I said, a lot of times it just depends on our eye shape. I happen to be one of those people that struggles with that. And it's not just because my eyes are changing or, you know, getting wrinkly. It's because that's always been a problem for me. However, using a tubing mascara solves that problem. I hate waterproof, so I don't use waterproof, but tubing, and I've explained this so many times because I tell everyone about tubing mascara. Some people don't know what it is, but basically it's just a different formula. It's not regular mascara and it's not waterproof, so it's not going to be one of those that's impossible to remove at the end of the day. This one wraps around each individual lash and it kind of creates like a little tube. So it stays in place. Once it dries, it stays in place. But then to remove, even with like warm water, you hold it down and they start peeling off. So that's what the formula does. And it behaves like waterproof in the sense that it sets and it doesn't smudge or transfer. So if you want a recommendation, the top three tubing mascaras right now, the one from Tarte, this is like my third one. The tubing mascara. They have a newer one that's supposed to be like after this one. It's called XL. I don't really see much of a difference. I like the original formula just as well. And Cali Ray, this is another beautiful one. It's a clean brand at Sephora. So if you are someone that likes only clean products, this is a great option. It gives you volume and it's tubing and it won't go anywhere. It gives you really, really nice volume. And at first, when they first released it, they didn't consider or they weren't labeled tubing. I knew that it behaved like a tubing, but I never saw it on the packaging. Well, now it has it. It's displayed on the box. It says that it's tubing. And the third option, which is like my latest discovery, and I only have a mini, so that's what we're gonna work with, is this one from Merit. Again, clean brand of Sephora. If you are a clean girly, this one gives like such beautiful separation and lift. I would say if that's what you're going for, go with the one from Merit. You'll see. So from scratch, this is, and I'll always do 2 coats. This is a mini, but I'm sure this is the actual brush that the full size comes with. Look at that, with just one go. I put it down, go on to the next eye, because you don't want to go in right away. You want to give it a couple seconds to dry, so the second time around it grips more. And you want to start as close to the lash line as possible for the first go around. And the second coat, I like to start more halfway, focusing more on the tips of the lashes to then create more of that lifting and lengthening effect with the second coat. So the first coat, I stayed as close to the lash line. The second coat, I'm gonna go here and focus on extending and making them longer. So the more I turn it around, the more product I am depositing and the more length I'm gonna get. I have my lashes are uneven. This side is shorter than the other one, so I have to make up for that and make this one longer than that one. But that's what it looks like with 2 coats on that side. It is such a beautiful mascara, and I just discovered it. This has been in my drawer for a while, but I just the other day I was like, let me try this mascara. It says that it's tubing, so let's give it a go. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I should have tried this a lot sooner. And I think price point, they're all pretty much average the same. All right, and doesn't that look like falsies? And for the bottom, I like to have the brush be a little bit longer and thinner, not so much like thick, because then it'll allow me access to that area in an easier way. So for that one, I do prefer using the one from Tarte, but I am not finding it right now. I just had it in my hand. This is a new one. I don't want to open a new box until I have finished the other one. I bet you I will find it the minute I stop looking for it, I will find it. All right, so we're gonna use the one that's called XL because the brushes are the same, so it should. This one's almost dry. So see, I'm not getting a ton of product out of it because it's almost time to throw it out. Goodness, I'm ambidextrous because this makes this a lot easier. Now I move on to lips, and like I did a video, a short the other day, just sharing how my perfect nude, this has been my go-to for a couple of weeks now, and I posted it and everyone seemed to love it because I got a ton of views. So I'm just gonna recreate that. What I used is just a regular concealer. This one is from LA Girl. Any concealer, because what I want to do is remove the pigmentation. I want to create a clean canvas, and then I go in with my favorite lip liners of all time. These are newer from Fenty. The shade Peanut Butter and Rubber Bands, both beautiful. I have them both. So once my lips are completely, we can call it primed. And this is especially if you have darker skin tone and you have like the darkness on the outer part going on, which is very common in people like us with darker skin tone. This is a great way to kind of be able to get the true color that you want out of a lipstick, not just a nude, but any color. Start off with a clean canvas. So, and then I go in and for the bottom part, I go out of the line a little bit to make it even on this side. So that's the bottom. On the upper, I just keep it right on the line. I don't go out. If you have smaller lips, you can kind of go outside of the line, and that makes them look a little fuller. And that's that. You can either leave it like this or add some glow, some like lip gloss. Well, actually, this is part of like one of the birthday gifts from Sephora for this year, the Kosas one that comes with the brow setter. It comes with this lip oil. So we're gonna just put a little bit, not much, because I like to keep the nude, that kind of color going on. And then I can just add a little bit, and sometimes I just add a little bit in the center. And then that brings back some glow and some hydration. This was a little bit pinkier than I would have wanted. I typically go for like nude peaches or nude browns, but yeah, that is the whole makeup look. Put my hoops. I am no one without hoops. I don't know. I don't understand people that don't love hoops, that don't wear them every day like I do. Like I literally do not leave my house unless I have my hoops on. Been like that since I was like since I was allowed to wear jewelry. Since I was allowed to wear makeup or anything like that. All right, guys, so this is my very crazy looking hair. This is the finished look. I hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are not a subscriber, I hope you will consider subscribing and joining the team here. I do try to upload one video per week. However, anyone here will tell you that that is never the case. But because I do struggle with like some mental issues that prevent me from being consistent, but I'm trying to do better. And so if you did find this video helpful or useful, please make a comment. Leave me a comment down below. It really helps me. It helps the algorithm. It helps push the video out to more people. And you'd be supporting me on this channel by doing so, or even just giving it a thumbs up helps. So if you found it useful, share it with a friend, a family member, a sister, cousin, anything. Again, it helps with the channel and kind of putting it out there. I appreciate you spending some of your time with me today, and I hope to see you again very soon. Take care. Bye. Adios.